Hi. We wanted to take a few minutes to give you an overview of the auditing process in finance in SAP S/4HANA Cloud. Specifically, this is the basic process for an external audit, so we'll show you the apps involved in this audit process and tell you a little bit about each of them as we go through the steps. Let's begin with the Audit Journal app. This app provides a detailed overview of my journal entries. Let's have a look at what the app shows. I'll enter a company code, fiscal year, and ledger, all of which are mandatory, and I'll go ahead and select a specific journal entry type to limit my search results. I'll select Go, and then select a period to expand. This expanded period shows me the document posting dates. I'll open up one of these, and here I can see the journal entries of this type that were posted on this date. I can use the journal entry ID number to navigate over into the document itself, or I can take advantage of some other options available to me. I can use Display Journal Entry Changes to see whether any changes were made to the document, or I can check to see if there are any gaps in journal entry numbering. I can also check for any multi-referenced invoices. The basic point of this check is to see whether documents were entered more than once with the same reference number, perhaps in procurement and in sales. So this option helps me identify this particular error quickly. Now, let's have a look at the Tax Declaration Reconciliation app. I'll open it up, enter the company code and fiscal year, and for this demo, I'll specify a posting period. And here's what I see. I see the tax boxes and codes for our VAT declaration. Some important things here. The items show me the tax box number as it appears on the declaration form and indicates whether that tax box includes the tax amount or whether that tax box includes the tax base amount. I see the tax code and the rate, the tax base amount, the calculated tax, the tax amount posted, and any differences. Now, some of the differences shown can be traced down to rounding errors. 1 cent at a time does add up over multiple transactions, but larger differences should be clarified. And that's important here. The amount shown here in this column is the total summation of all the differences for all of the line items posted for this tax code. So from here, we'd need to drill down into the line items to track down the differences and resolve them as necessary. And with a difference amount of this magnitude, that's what we'll need to do later. Let's have a quick look. These procurement entries here are the cause of the aggregate differences. These documents seem to have been entered with no tax, so they'll have to be canceled out and re-entered. The next app we can take a look at is the Tax Reconciliation Account Balance app. This provides a general ledger view of our tax information. Here again, I need the company code and fiscal year, and I'll also select a journal entry type. And here, I have 2 items that I can take a look at. I'll open this item, and right here I can see a problem. If I apply the tax rate to the tax base amount, I get the calculated tax amount. But right away, I can see that this differs from the tax amount that was posted. Now, the likely cause of this is manual entry of the journal entry, so I'll add the journal entry column to my view, open the item again, and here, I can use this link to go into the document itself. From there, I can assess what needs to be done to correct the error. Let's take a look at one more thing. Let's go have a look at the Auditor Direct Access app. I'll select the audit structure and then define a check number. I do this so that if we have more than one person performing audits, each auditor can create their own variant. Let's get this started, and here's our audit structure. This shows me the various reports that the auditor can run, or the customizing data that the auditor can have a look at, like the company code or the financial statement versions, as well as the master data, like balances and line items. To run a report, I need to double-click the clock icon on the left-hand side. Let's take an example. I'll open the account list for company code, and look here. The customer account field is pre-filled with dummy. This is a visual cue to auditors to remember to make the changes that they need to make to run the report. I'll remove that and enter a company code, And here we go. Here's what the report looks like. Let's go back, and this time I'll double-click the description. This opens up new options for me. I can maintain the check status field, for example, or assign weighting, or make notes on the process from the point I'm at. Now have a look here. Here's the option to maintain parameter default values. Here, auditors can define the default values for themselves. So if you want to check for a specific fiscal year, you can define that here using the Maintain TVARV option. One more thing I want to show you. Let's have a look at the audit log. I'll make sure that the audit structure is correct and enter my check number. And here I can see the changes that were made by this particular auditor. No one has made any changes under this check number, but here is where I would see the most recent changes made by this auditor. Going back, I can filter the status by status type, and I have the option to select a short overview or a detailed display, which controls how much information I see in the log when I display it. And there we go. We've taken a look through the auditing process and some of the important apps involved. We've seen how we can use the Audit Journal app to maintain oversight of our journal entries and identify certain errors that we may have in our books. We've also seen how the Tax Declaration Reconciliation and Tax Reconciliation Account Balance apps help us see our tax information more clearly, including identifying any problems that may need corrected before reporting. And we've seen an overview of what the external auditor can see and do using the Auditor Direct Access app.